Hi, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. This is Yvette, and on today's segment of This Ain't For Everybody, we are going to talk about the two P's. What are the two P's? The two P's, that is pandemic and protest. You have another question? Oh, you want to know what they have in common? Got it. So we're going to talk about that, okay? We are going to definitely talk about the commonalities of pandemic and protest. So let's get started with pandemic. Right now, all 50 states, they're experiencing a pandemic. Coronavirus is out here. He playing. He like, I'm here. Who want to play with me? Right? This virus is a silent killer. It does the sneak attack. It sneaks up on you. And once it gets you, oh man, it got you. Right? Yeah. Okay. So let's look at it like this. Two people. One African American female. She's sick with COVID. She goes to the hospital. Next, we have a white American female. She too is sick with COVID. She goes to the hospital. So I'm going to put my kickstand down for one quick second. I saw on a TV interview where a nurse was talking that they have to decide who they're going to save when these people are in a hospital, okay? Who are they going to save? That's a hard choice for some people. All right, so I'm putting my kickstand up. These two women, one black, one white, they're in the hospital. They're sick with COVID. And as we know, COVID can take a turn for the worse like that. So now, COVID has taken a turn for the worse in both of these ladies. They're sick. They are now in need of a ventilator. So now, we're on a ventilator. And it's getting worse. Now these doctors and these nurses, they have to decide, who am I going to save? Who am I going to save? Okay, with this virus, it has brought about the disparity, the inequality of healthcare coverage in the African American community, right? So now it's out here, it's in the open, and what are we getting? We're going to talk about this. This needs to be addressed. We are going to bring everybody together so that we can make sure that the African American community has the health care coverage that they need. Because COVID is hitting that community hard. The coronavirus, it said, I came to get you. You don't have no health coverage, and I'm going to take you out. Coronavirus is hitting the African American community pretty doggone hard. And it took the coronavirus for them to start talking, them meaning, legislators, that we have to fix this so it doesn't happen again. We have to fix this so that the African American community can get the health care coverage that they so deserve. They said, we're going to talk about it. Okay? So, let's do a quick recap. Pandemic. Who will I save? Who will I save? Inequality, injustice. We're going to have a conversation. It's hitting the African American community hard, right? That's pandemic. Let's move on to protests. In light of recent events, Ahmaud Arbery and George Floyd, two African American men killed by white people, murdered by white people. One by the need of a cop. Officers are to protect and serve. Not all officers are bad. My brother's a cop. And it's heart every single day, knowing that he's going out there. And I have to tell him, be careful every single day. It's crazy. Okay, I digress. Back to the story. Back to the pot. Back to protest. Okay, so with these protests, oftentimes they start out very peaceful. Very peaceful. And then sometimes they end in violence and destruction. I need to put another kickstand down real fast. When we see violence and destruction on TV, I just want to make it clear that it is not always the African American community destroying property and terrorizing businesses and organizations. I just needed to put that out there. All right, so I'm putting my kickstand up. These peaceful protests have sometimes ended in destruction and violence. Organizations, businesses, stores, restaurants, communities are being destroyed. So once these protests get you, they got you. Now you are tasked with rebuilding. And some of you have put your life savings into your store, your restaurant, your organization, your business. And I feel bad for you guys because now it's like, where are you going to get the money? Because you have to rebuild, and you have literally poured your life savings into that business. But what I need for people to understand is that the Black community is hurting. This is how they are letting out their anger and their pain. Some may call it self-care. I'm not going to debate that fact because self-care can look different for everybody. There's not one self-care that's a fit-all. So self-care looks different for everybody. So that's not something that I'm going to stand here and try to debate and, break that down because I can't. However, we as a Black community, we're tired of being pacified. We are tired of being fed breadcrumbs. What do I mean? I mean, every time an incident happens, they say, we're going to have a conversation. We're really going to look into this. This has to be fixed. They always talk, but there's no action behind it. And then another incident happened, and we're back at square one, where we're talking about having the conversation. The conversation should have started a long time ago. But since that conversation did not start, we have violence and we have destruction. When Colin Kaepernick took a knee, that was the start of a conversation. But instead of looking at it in the positive light, because it was peaceful, it became a huge to-do. People started to point their finger at him. He lost his job. He was blackballed. All because he wanted to start the conversation. So let's look at this. As we recap protest, conversation, murdering of Black people, injustice, inequality, pacifying, and breadcrumbs. When will the conversation start? I don't know. And like I said toward the end of my video of my thoughts on Ahmaud Arbery, I don't have the answers. But until that conversation can start, I'll pray Goshen. Goshen? What is Goshen? Goshen is God's protection for you. So I'll pray Goshen. From the Donald Lawrence and the Tri-City Singers lyrics, I pray peace in this time of fighting. I pray love in this time of hating. I pray safety in this time of killing. The joy of the Lord in this time of stressing. I'll pray Goshen. Goshen for you. God's protection for you. Stay safe. Stay healthy. And until we meet again, activate your faith.